there are a couple of things you should know about this Battle Frontier. First off, it's not as big as it was back in Hoenn. It's a bit smaller, and there's not a whole lot of NPCs. Although, back in Emerald 386, I kinda got overwhelmed because of how much content there was in that Battle Frontier. So, I guess you could say I was kinda struggling to explain everything I could about that place. And something tells me I'm going to have a hard time explaining everything I can about this particular Battle Frontier. Anyway, secondly, you'll see this exact same Battle Frontier in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So if I somehow do Soul Silver, which I'm not really sure if I'm going to do, I'm not going to cover the Battle Frontier there because it's the same thing as what you're going to see in a matter of seconds. Well, you do have to go through so much hoops just to get to Palmer. I know I did. Yeah, I remember fighting Palmer all those years ago, although I'm not really sure how the battle went because that was like, what, 10 years ago? Anyway, it's been a while since I last played around at the Battle Tower. Alright, here we are, the Battle Frontier itself. Okay, over here we have the exchange corners. They sell either TMs, items, or scratch-off cards. Okay, this person is selling items you can either use or give to your Pokemon. With the most expensive items being all the way down here, especially rare candies, since, hey, everybody loves rare candies. Alright, over here I assume you're selling TMs? Okay, yes she is. Wow, Earthquake costs 80 battle points. Well, if you want to get any of these CMs, then you gotta save up your battle points. Although, keep in mind, you can only use those CMs once, unlike in future Pokemon games. And over here we have the scratch-off cards. Now, let me talk about these cards for a second. First off, you could buy 3 of those things for 1 battle point, and here's how they work. You scratch off 3 squares on each card, and if you get the same icon 3 times, you get a prize, which can be either a nugget or 3 of a certain type of berry depending on what icons are revealed. Although I can't exactly show you because I don't have any battle points of my own. Well, it's a shame that nobody here gives you battle points for free, unlike in Emerald 386. Yeah, I seem to recall that Scott gave me some battle points when I first went to the Battle Frontier. Okay, I'm just going to talk to everybody, and then after that's done, I'm going to check out some of the battle facilities. And while I talk to these NPCs, I might as well talk about that one thing that I wanted to talk about, but I didn't have the time to do so. And it's that 7-star Terry Battle event that's currently happening right now. The 7-star Infernape. So that event started on the 4th and ended on the 6th, and now it's back again on the 11th, and it'll end today on the 13th. So its level, you know what it is by now. Its charge type is Rock, its nature is Naughty, its ability is Iron Fist, and its moveset consists of Flare Blitz, Aura Sphere, Terra Blast, and Grass Knot. And its additional moves are Nasty Plot, Sword Stance, and Focus Energy. So, how did I do against that thing? Well, believe it or not, it only took me 2 chances to get that thing because, well, the first attempt, it didn't go so well because I did use a Malamar, so that way I could use skill swaps, so that way I could give it contrary, so that way, if Infrape were to go for either Nasty Plot or Sword Stance, then it'll lower its own stats, which it did. And I have to admit, I kind of laughed at that because, yeah, it was really kind of amusing to see Infrape do that. Although, what was not funny was the fact that when it was down to, I believe, 35... Actually, no. The time was down to 35%. It used Focus Energy, and from full HP, it one-hit KO'd my Malamar. And I was really upset about that. So, yeah, that's why it took me 2 tries to get that thing. Although, my second attempt, it did go for Focus Energy again, but at least it didn't one-hit KO me. I think maybe it's because of the fact that it used either Nasty Plot or Sword Stance a few times, which lowered its own offense. So, yeah, I guess you could say I kind of got lucky there. So yeah, I guess Malamar is the way to go, so that way you can watch Infrape lower its own stats, so that way maybe you'll have an easier time with it. Of course, if you don't want to use Malamar, you don't have to, because, well, I guess you could also use Dondozo, since Unaware will make sure that you won't feel the full blow of Infrape's moves. But keep in mind, Infrape did know Grass Knot, and Dondozo weighs quite a bit, so yeah, that could possibly change your decision. So anyway, I guess I didn't really have a whole lot of trouble with that 7-star Infrape, even though there was that one little setback involving Infrape one-shotting me. Oh yeah, I believe when the time is at 90%, I believe that thing resets your stats, so yeah, I guess I didn't really boost my stats all that much. Oh yeah, the Malamar moveset that I gave my Malamar was Superpower, Skill Swap, Reversal, and Terra Blast. With its Terra type being Fighting, so that way I'll get Stab powered on Superpower, and I guess Terra Blast as well. The Battle Tower. It's been a very long time since I last played around there, but I'm not going to go in there quite yet because I want to explore the other battle facilities first. Okay, okay, I haven't talked to this person yet. Yep, it most certainly is. Oh yeah, as for the other battle facilities, well, I don't think I really play around in those other battle facilities all that much. I think I recall playing around at the Battle Factory. Yeah, I will go on record by saying the Battle Factory is one of my favorite battle facilities because I get to use rental Pokemon, but I'll get to that when I get to that. I believe I came full circle already, so let's go inside the Battle Hall because I promised that I would talk about that place because, well, there's a lot to talk about in regards to that place. Oh boy, the Battle Hall. Yeah, I do remember playing around here years ago, and let me tell you, it's not the easiest battle facility to get through. Okay, so here's how this place works. You can only battle with one Pokemon. Then you have to choose from a list that consists of all Pokemon types, although I'm not really sure if Fairy is one of the types that you could select from. Anyway, then you have to pick one of the typings that you want to challenge. For instance, if you have an electric type, then that would prompt you to take on water opponents. Then every time you beat a water opponent, the rank of that type increases by 1. This will continue until that rank reaches 10. However, the more that rank increases, the stronger the opposing Pokemon gets. Not only that, but as you get further in ranks, the opposing team might counter you. For instance, Electric is normally good against water, right? But, what if you end up facing a water ground type, like, say, Quagsire or Whiscash? Well, unless you have something to counter those kinds of Pokemon, you're done. And anyway, you're gonna have to face ground types eventually if you want to face the Battle Frontier. So, after 50 consecutive battles, you fight the Frontier Brain herself, Hall Matron Argenta, for the first time. Then after 170 consecutive battles, you face her again. But that only happens when you beat rank 10 in every single type. So, what does she use, you may ask? Well, that depends. One challenge for the Silver Print, she'll use something that has a base stat total similar to the Pokemon you're using. It's absolutely random. Then when facing her a second time, she'll use something that has the same level as your Pokemon. So, if you want to know what kinds of Pokemon Argenta might use, I'm going to put a link in the move description so that way maybe you can see what Pokemon she'll use, so that way maybe you could possibly be prepared for what you're about to face. Yeah, I do remember fighting here a long time ago, and, well, there was one little incident that I seem to remember all those years ago. I don't quite recall what Pokemon I used here, but whatever it was, I ended up fighting a Shedinja, and I didn't have any moves to kill that thing because, well, as you know, Shedinja's ability will make sure that it only takes damage from super effective hits, and I had none of that. So, eventually, I had to wait until I ran out of all of the power points in all my moves, so that way I can kill Shedinja using Struggle. Oh boy. If I ever play around here again, hopefully something like that doesn't happen. Okay, I'm not gonna check this out because I don't see any point doing that. Oh yeah, so one thing you should know is that if you decide to use a different Pokemon other than the one you're using to build up a streak, then that streak ends and you have to start from scratch. However, there's one ploy you can use to your advantage. Let's say use a Togekiss after that you could build up your streak with any Togekiss you choose, especially if that particular Togekiss struggles against rock types. So you could choose a different Togekiss to handle those rock types, so that way that you could actually get through your challenge, since the other Togekiss couldn't handle rock types. Of course, once again, it is worth mentioning, the opponent is going to counter you eventually, so be wary of that. Okay, that's interesting. A Battle Hall multi-battle challenge can't be interrupted. Okay, I did not realize that. Okay, so this is the person you want to talk to if you want to take on a multi-battle challenge. Okay, assume you're the one that's gonna take me to a single or double battle challenges. Yes, I do know that. Okay, let's talk about the info. Yes, I do know that. Yeah. I will admit, I guess this battle facility is kind of hard to deal with because, well, you don't know what you're going to face. And yeah, what I just said a few minutes ago when I was fighting a Shedinja and it completely walled me, well, yeah, I guess that's a taste at what you could possibly fight here. Okay, now this person is just repeating everything I said, although I think she's doing a better job at explaining everything about this place. Okay, yes, I do know that, and I do know that as well. Yeah, I will admit I did do that quite a few times. Okay, guess this place went by quickly, so let's go to another battle facility. Okay, I believe down here is the battle castle. Yeah, I remember playing around here years ago, although I'm not really sure if I remember all the things that happened. Okay, so let me explain how the battle castle works. You get castle points to buy things. As I said before, this is the only battle facility in which your Pokemon are not healed in between battles. You have to use your castle points for that. However, there is an exception whenever your Pokemon has a status condition or if they're dead. After a battle, the status condition will go away and the fainted Pokemon will be revived to 1 HP. Okay, for the longest time, I did not remember that. Anyway, as for the castle points, when you begin your challenge, you start with 10 castle points, and every time you win, you get more castle points. But the better you are at defeating opponents, the more castle points you get. I'll throw a link in the move description so that way you can see the full list on how to get more castle points. Also, you could actually use your castle points to upgrade yourself so that way you can have more upgrades. Like for instance, if you level yourself up to 2, you'll be able to restore your power points and not just your HP. But if you level yourself up to 3, you can heal both at the same time. But it does cost quite a bit of castle points. Eventually, there will be an option to skip a battle, which costs 50 castle points, so hopefully you manage your castle points perfectly. Okay, so once again, after you compete in 20 battles, in your 21st battle, you'll face the Castle Valet Dirac. Yeah, I believe you saw me face Dirac back in part 75. Yeah, he did give me quite a challenge, although, then again, maybe not. I think he was a pretty okay challenger. As for Lady Caitlin, well, yeah, I guess I kind of told you about her story. She can't fight because if she loses a battle, then her psychic powers go awry, and, well, it's practically impossible to make her psychic powers stop. Although, judging by what you saw back in part 75, looks like a cup of tea will curb her psychic powers. Although, when you see her again in black and white, apparently I think she has her psychic powers under control because when you beat her, her psychic powers don't go all awry. Okay, I believe the person down below is going to tell me something about multi-battles, but I'm only interested in single and double battles, so I'm going to move on to the next battle facility. Okay, what is over to the right? I believe it's supposed to be the battle arcade. Okay, here it is. Alright, so the battle arcade. Here's how it works. So, before each battle starts, an event is determined by the usage of a roulette machine. Some events are good, some events are bad. Eventually, the roulette will move pretty fast depending on your current round, which is kind of bad because you might land on something that you don't want, like say all your Pokemon are poisoned, paralyzed, burned, or maybe battling in the fog, or swapping teams with an opponent. Well, for some people, I guess getting either poisoned, paralyzed, or burned is a good thing if your Pokemon have the ability Guts or something. I know that's going to satisfy me, but battling in the fog, well, yeah, that's the worst because, yeah, thick fog equals poor accuracy. Yeah, I had my fair share of that years ago. As for swapping teams with your opponents, well, I'm not really sure how I feel about that because, well, if you're adapted to a certain strategy that you're going to use against your opponent, then it would really suck if your own strategy is being used against you. I think I experienced that one time, although I'm not really sure if it was in this game. And anyway, the opposing Pokemon's team, well, I'm not really sure how good they are, so I could be having a little bit of a handicap because I'm using a team that I'm not very fond of, and I guess Pokemon that I don't really want to use. Oh yeah, Trick Room, yeah, I do remember that. And sometimes they're not going to be an event, which I guess is good, so that way nothing happens. Okay, looks like I don't have a whole lot of time left to talk to these people, but I think you know what they're going to say, so yeah, I'm going to talk to these people next time. So, join me then for more of the Battle Frontier. See you next time.